turned off my Wi-Fi here. And don't look at my hair. I've got pool head. Hey, how's everybody? Helen Ware. I'm new. I live in Vermont. You are a hoot. I laugh during every video I've watched, and you certainly have a gift for teaching and entertaining. Well, thank you very much. I didn't start it this way. Or maybe I did. Maybe this is just... Well, the truth is, if you go back far enough on this channel, Helen, you're going to see the massive amount of mental, emotional, and spiritual growth I've gone through. Ask anybody who's been with me more than 5 years. These last 3 years have been nothing short of amazing. So now you may not know, Helen, that on this channel, Life with the Wolfies, we do other things. One of them is, this is the only place I do public lives, because a lot of people on our half-acre homestead don't like the lives anymore. And hi, Urban. How's it going, sweetheart? Sherry, Jean. Well, let me get everybody who's coming in say hi, so you will be on the participants board, and I can shout you out. All right. But before we get started, let's cleanse. And if anybody says burning sage is evil or the devil's work, churches have been burning incense for millennia. Smoke of the sacred white sage, please cleanse us of negativity or harmful intent. Please let us gather, help us gather in love. Okay. I just had a puff, guys. Please help us gather in love, light, laughter, and open minds. Raise our voice aloft to God, the one source of all, Creator. Let's cleanse. There we go. All right, all the demons have left the room. Just kidding. Well, no, I mean, you know what I mean. Hey, Paula. Okay, let me say hi. Let me say hi here. Donna Lull. Hi, Paula. Helen Ware. Welcome aboard. Everybody say hi to Helen. She's new. Jean Phillips, Joe Mama, Julie Otteson, Lacey Black. C'est moi. Lynn Smith, Martha Ma. How's it going, Ma? Holcomb. Urban Homestead, Patricia Carson. Here's Johnny. Relax at Sage Spa, Sherry Leach, and Tamasu. So far, that's all. But hi, Marie. How are you? Oh, my garden. Oh, my goodness. My garden is... I'm missing a deck of cards here. My garden is doing amazing. My kids came up this weekend. My kids came up this weekend. Came up yesterday, and then I stayed up as late as I possibly could, which was like 10 o'clock. But I mean, we went in the pool, and we had a big chicken and rice supper, and then Howie went, and then we had cheesecake, and it's the simplest cheesecake in the world. I don't know why anybody fusses. 3 bricks of cheese, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and 4 eggs. Anything else, it's too creamy, right? Betty, how are you, darling? Tammy Smith, hi, are you new? Well, I think you're fairly new. MLP, hey, baby. Is that my house paranormal? Like, are you really trying to hide from me to see if I'll get who you are? Betty, Jean. So anyway, hi, Pam. This is what annoys people on our half-acre homestead the most when I would do live streams. It drive them nuts that I would interrupt sentences to say hi to people. And then I'd forget what I was saying and go on with something else. And then I'd come back to the story. So folks, if you're new, I'm like a monkey in a tree. I start out at the trunk and I go all over the place, but eventually I get back down to the trunk issue again, right? Hey, Mary Jo. I'm glad you love the frugal series. I'm really glad. Now, okay, so my kids came up this weekend and we had a nice big dinner. We played in the pool. Arthur and Mel were having a hard time finding bean plants and bean seeds. So I gave them a package of my bean seeds. And then I dug up like 6 or 7 plants for them to take home to kickstart their garden. Hey, Natalie, how are you? Where'd that little puff come from? Must have come from the abalone. So then after supper, Briar did all the dishes. He said, I'm just going to put my headphones on and do the dishes. Oh, and instead of like making toppings for the cheesecake, we had some chocolate syrup in the fridge. And Howie and the kids had brought strawberries. So Arthur sliced them all, like washed them, sliced them all up. And then, layered them with a little bit of sugar. So there was like a little bowl of strawberries. And so what we did, and Howie got, I'm interrupting myself again, and Howie got a jar of my blueberry blackcurrant out of the cupboard or out of the pantry. So after supper, we had strawberries, blueberry blackcurrant jam, and chocolate syrup. And I just left the cheesecake plain and we put whatever we wanted on top. It was awesome. Hey, Karina, Corey. Hi, Corey. Malka, Lena K, Deborah Kelly. How's everybody? Rosie Slade. So that's that. And then I went to bed at like 10. And Mel went to bed and the boys sat up in the living room playing video games. My sons, because they don't see each other that often, right? So doing great. Squash, zucchini, green beans, not so good. You know what? Remember, none of my yellow zucchini grew. None of the yellow zucchini grew. Remember the first bed I put in yellow and green? And I couldn't figure out why there shouldn't be. I put a half a package of each seeds in. And I couldn't figure out why I'm only got like 6, 7. Well, I think I got 11 now. And then when I planted the zucchini, the yellow zucchini in the big tub and the green zucchini in the next tub, only the green zucchini came up. So I think my yellow zucchini was a dud. It was a dud. So, hi, Danny Love. How are you? Whitney Gibson, Angie Mack, Fiona B. Oh, I did it too, sweetheart. But I mean, so I'm going to have to, I think now my one tub has like 6 or 7 zucchinis coming up in it. So I think I'm going to give the yellow zucchinis another day. And if they don't come up, I'm just going to transfer a couple over. My spaghetti squash, I've got 3 or 4 coming up in each bed. That's perfect, actually, because the beds are only 3 by 4. And tomorrow, is it supposed to rain tomorrow, honey? Is it supposed to rain tomorrow? He has no idea. Howie's cooking leftover for supper. Not leftovers. We have a half a package of bacon left from when I made macaroni and cheese casserole on Sunday, broccoli macaroni and cheese casserole on Friday. And we have a little bit of that pasta macaroni and cheese left over. So I said, fry the half pack of bacon and then leave the residue, but drain the grease off into another frying pan for eggs. And then throw the cold pasta mac and cheese in with the bacon and start, and we'll have toast. Angie Mack, good for going out to my garden plot this afternoon. First time garden, onions, green beans, carrots, peppers, and marigolds. Do not let yourself get overwhelmed. Like my garden, with all the rain we've been having, is full of weeds. And I've been going out and I've been pulling some weeds, but I'm not picking every microscopic one. I'm just getting what I can with my hands. Video on our half-acre homestead tomorrow is another a day in the life or puttering with Mrs. V kind of video. And you'll get, it's new kind of new stuff. But you'll see what I did to my garden on Friday, on Thursday or Friday. So, hey Doris, how are you, darling? Team Mama Dukes. Right now it's been raining. We've got all the windows closed, and I'm wearing slippers. So, you know, it's chilly, right? I saved a peppermint plant today. Be really careful. When you're planting any kind of mint, I would do it in pots. It is very, very invasive. Hi, EJ. Oh, wonderful. Well, I read Chattanese, so I get that you saved it or rescued it. Full of weeds, yes. My husband used to garden, and he will know what's weeds and what isn't. We're in the heat waves. Where are you with humidity? You must be in Florida, Tammy. We're in the heat wave with humidity. It's 106. Wow. I think it's too hot, too fast. Everything is, see, not here. It's actually pretty cool for this time of year, eh, dear? It's actually really cool, but I'll tell you something. One of my branches broke off of my tomato plant, and listening, I know you can do this, but I have such a short growing season. I've never thought about it, but I stuck it in the ground and I watered it, and it's alive. It's alive. So when I picked off a couple of suckers on the bigger plants, I just stuck them out back. You just never know, right? It stood there crying, "Take me home." So I took it with me. He's happy now. Well, I hope he's in a pot, or she is in a pot. You want the female. 102 right now in Florida with humidity. Renegade Black Sheep Homestead. Hey, y'all, just found you in your frugal series, so I subscribe. Well, welcome. I'm going to call you Renegade, okay? I don't want to call you Black. I don't want to call you Sheep. And Homestead's too long. We'll call you Renegade. This is my first love, but I have a habit myself. Even after 4+ years, I am still learning in this New Mexico desert heat. Wow, we've been to New Mexico. Welcome aboard, Renegade. My butternut squash, cantaloupe, potatoes are coming. It's 87 degrees here in Virginia. I use my flower beds as my garden since I rent a house. Well, no, good for you. It's hot here in Washington. Already in a pot. Good job. I got yellow squash, cucumbers, lemons, all for 99 cents per bag. They had apples, but I left it for an older gentleman to grab. Well, there you go. That's making sense. That's sensible, isn't it? Taking advantage of, they're really cheap here in this country, okay? Their produce stands, the stuff is practically bad, right? They don't put nothing out that isn't like already bad. So anyway, but one day, sometimes you get something like in Giant Tiger, the bags of clementines they were like $5. And there was one bag in the 50% off rack, and it only had one moldy one in it. So I bought it because I got almost a full bag for half the price, right? It's cool and steady, rain with some thunderstorms. Yeah, that's about it here. It's cool and a lot of rain. But we had some sun yesterday. Well, the thing is if this is what we were talking about in the frugal series, right? This is what we're going to be talking about more. Not just tips, but we're going to talk about changing the way we have been programmed to think about consuming. For instance, I'll find myself looking at the nearly rotten produce rack and go, what am I going to use it for? Right? I can't use it all in one day. And then someone said, no, take it home, dehydrate it, cook it, freeze it, whatever. And I went, why didn't that click in my head the last time? The last time I was watching a guy in the big produce section. It was a big grocery store, like No Frills or Food Basics or something like that, right? And this guy had one of those big, the bins that the watermelons come in. It was full of green peppers. And he was loading the thing, and it had, he was loading the thing on the sidewall, but there was a sign in it saying, I think there were 4 for $2.99 or something, or 4 for $1.99. So as he was doing that, I just picked out ones that had a little bruise or a little this or a little that. And I picked out 4 and I said, what can I have these for? I said, they're damaged. Because I asked him, what do you do with the damaged ones? He said, we toss them. So I said, can I have these 4 at a discount? Right? I learned that from the book A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. And so he went in the back, wrapped it, and put a nonsense sticker on it, little prick. They're throwing them out, but they're going to charge me for them. If I could dumpster dive, God, I would. I would. I'm going to freeze the onions. I got 5 pounds for $1, and the ugly veg will also go to the freezer camp. Good. There you go. Hi, Reena. Oh, no worries, honey. I'm going to freeze. Right. Okay. Hey, Kelly. How are you, darling? Look up water purification. There are so many things to use. See, I'm really lucky. I have a well, and it's a dug well, which means if the power goes out, Howie's really got to build a well house and roof over that. If the power goes out, Howie can pry off the lid and we can drop a bucket down that bugger. I've always wanted a hand pump on my well. Okay, Howie, along with the crossbow, I want a hand pump for my well for Christmas. Yes, I've been asking for a crossbow or hinting for a crossbow for like 5 years. And I'm finally I'm quitting hinting. I'm saying, buy me this for Christmas. Hey, Tammy M, Karen Adkins, Michelle Belford, no problem. Silky, how are you, my darling? Hi, everyone from South Shore, Nova Scotia. Loving the Frugal series. Already started freezing the butter wrappers. Do you know what I did? I made a pie last week, and no, it's not a video. I don't video absolutely everything I do. I made a pie, and I used the last piece of my lard, and my tender flake lard. So I kept the box, and I cut the wrapper in 4 and put it back in the box. And then the last couple of pounds of butter I opened, I even though it's foil with like a bit of parchment on it, I cut those in 4 and put them in the box, and I leave it right in my fridge. Because Lisa Arkey, thank you. Can't stay, but wanted to leave a little love. Oh, God bless you, darling. Thank you very much. Low Quebec forecast. Next 3 days, partly cloudy. Thursday, Friday, rain. Okay, so I weed then. Thank you very much, Falker Consulting, or Paula. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of rain. And the plants are definitely loving it. My cabbages went from these little, hey, right, to like this. The leaves are just like, and it seems that the marigolds are working. The marigolds are working to keep critters off. However, if they do get looking like Swiss cheese, there is a remedy for that. And I'm going to tell you because it is in an older video that you may not have seen in about 5 years or more, right? If your cabbages get attacked by bugs and they look like Swiss cheese, do not panic. Here's frugal living for you. Soak them. Like put them in a tub outside, some kind of Rubbermaid tote or whatever, or wash tub or something. Put cold water. No, not cold water. Yeah, fill it with cold water. Dump your cabbages in there after taking off all the bad leaves. Dump your cabbages in there, and then mix a half a cup of pickling salt in hot water until it started to dissolve, until it dissolves. Pour that in there. the worms will come right out of the cabbages trying to escape the salt water. And you just keep pressing them down in, and then your cabbages will be wholly but worm-free. But you can still shred them and dehydrate them for soups. Or you can still shred them and freeze them for soups. Don't let it go to waste. Hi, Evan Leanne. How are you? That doesn't matter. Tammy M, my green are starting to come out. Wonderful. Peppermint Homestead Crafts and Thrift. Hello from North Carolina. How are you, darling? Yeah, I may have done that. Okay. If my 7 cabbages, if the marigolds aren't enough, because I'm messing with sprays and tunnels and all that stuff, you know, well, it's starting to smell good, baby. I off-grid so I can dehydrate, cook with sun and coarse ferment, no fridge. They use gray water and greenhouse for growing here, raising chickens for eggs and meat. Really awesome. Howie and I could do it. We're not going to do it until we have to anymore. We've proved ourselves. We hunt. We still hunt, right? We can raise and butcher pigs. We can raise and butcher beef. We can raise and butcher chickens and turkeys and ducks and geese and goats. We've done it all. But we want to enjoy what's the rest of our lives. And it is brutally hard work. Wasn't it, dear? Not so bad in the summertime, but overwintering animals was the hard part. Because, I mean, I had two pregnant alpine goats, babies. I had 2 pregnant alpine goats, and they were pregnant from my, I forget what kind of goat he was. What kind of goat was Ditto? Not Ditto, his dad. Yeah, the big white one. See, I'm forgetting my animals' names now. That's how long it's been. But we had a 2 weeks straight of 40 below weather. And even though our barn was insulated, and even though my animals had lots of feed, and even though the beehives were insulated and they had food and air and heat, we lost our beehives. We lost our buck goat. And I didn't realize that my girls, they were both pregnant with twins. And I didn't realize when I went in the barn that they were just laying down. I didn't they looked like they were just comfortable in the straw because we'd given them extra bedding. I didn't realize they couldn't get up. They were dying. And I lost Clover. Clover and oh my God. Clover and Blossom. Clover and Blossom. And they were both pregnant with twins. And Clover and Blossom were the first baby goats born on this homestead. And so Blossom died. Blossom died. And she was carrying twin girls. And I got the vet out here as fast as I could to give a Clover an emergency C-section. And I wish I had known sooner. I would have done it with both, because I would have been able to save the baby. But it was just, you know what? You have livestock and you have dead stock, and it can be very brutally disappointing. And from Patera's channel, guys, she made a really good point when she was talking on a video, saying, look, don't just have enough in your pantry to get you to harvest. What happens if you don't get a harvest? What happens if it's August and a hailstone just decimates everything and there's no time to replant? You don't just think from harvest to harvest. You got to think about backup too. I know, didn't she? She's just a firecracker, isn't she? I love Patera. Hi, Monique. How are you? So, look at the problems I had this year. And I'm gonna put a tinfoil hat on and say a lot of people are discovering they're having 50% of their seeds aren't. I had to use 2 packages of celery to get 40 plants. Now, those of you who know me and have been following me for the last few years, 1 package of seed usually gives me 4 beds of 20 or more plants. And I was selling 60 and 70 plants at a time, or trading them for barter. And I had to use 2 packages of seeds to get 40 plants this year. Now, at first, I thought it was the bag of ProMix organic potting soil. This is really not cheap stuff. This was like $15-16 a bag, somewhere around there. And it was like inert. It was like the soil was dead. So things would grow a bit, right? And then they would just start to peter off. And I had to transplant like a lot of things into new soil. I had to some things, I had to sprinkle new soil on top. But I mean, it's been a stressful for starting seeds and seeing what's growing and what's not. Hey, Susan Baker from Central Florida. How are you, darling? It's not easy at my age alone, so I downsized animals to chicken and dogs after my hubby passed in September. I really want to get bees, though, so it's a goal. Well, I mean, just remember one thing when you start bees. Do your research first, because it's not easy. Now, you can harvest wild bees if you're up to it, but here is the only thing I really have to say that you must remember about bees. Do not swat. Do not swat, because they release a hormone that says they're being attacked. And then it's going to happen. Don't swat any painful stinging insect, because they will bring reinforcements. Seeds this year are awful, even for fodder or sprouts. I know. So but I'm really happy because I did those parsnips. Remember I said, well, I planted them like an inch apart, and I did the paper towel strips, and then I put the parsnip seeds on, and then I put a wet strip, and I rolled it up and put it in a bag. You just soak for 24 hours before planting. Then I just unrolled it, right? But even those, I was like, okay, wait, even if I have to pull every other one to make room, I've got lots of parsnips. Like last year, remember I had 5. Well, I got lots of parsnips, but it ain't the whole package. It's not. I mean, I planted half the package, and it was a lot in a 3x4 bed, and I still probably got 20 parsnips, right? But I'm good with that if they grow. I got 2 beds of beets, and I ruthlessly thinned and weeded. I've learned something. I am no longer going to just scatter rutabaga seeds in the bed and go like this, because if they're in rows, you can thin them easier and it's more uniform. But I ruthlessly thinned. I probably got 20 rutabaga plants, and then when they get bigger, I will thin them again to the best ones. Here it's against the law to kill a bee because the farmers need them for the produce and nuts. Well, the farmers better stop using that pink shit on their seeds. The neonicotinoids or things. You got to stop using that shit. The bees will stop dying. I don't swat. You don't scream and run either. Okay? Pretty soon, if you're not a threat, it'll figure it out and they'll go away. It's just checking you out because you're pretty like a flower. My problem is not wanting to thin, but I got over it this year. You have to thin, Avalan. You know that. If you don't thin, all of the plants start sucking up the nutrients of the soil. And B, you're going to get spindly plants because they're going to crowd each other out. So I got like 20 rutabagas in there. I'm not going to allow any more than 9 to grow. Hey, girl, how's it going, sweetheart? Yep, all that crap is killing the bees off. Absolutely. Pretty like a flower. Well, yes. So, talking about changing the way we think about consumerism. Remember, we were talking about gas prices and groceries. The more specialized a store is, the more the price is going to go up. And folks, grocery stores have become specialized. Why? Because now think about gas prices. Farmers got to pay for the gas on all those machinery, and diesel is going up, right? So they got to get their price. So if it's going from the farmers to the farmers market, they've got to pay for the machinery for the gas for the machinery. They got to pay for the gas to get it to the farmers market, and then they got to pay for the stall. Markup, markup, markup. But the more removed you get from the farm, the more markups there are, because then if it goes from the farm to the packing plant to the distribution center, and then it gets distributed to the grocery stores, you got 4 or 5 markups there, right? Yeah, I did, Lena K. Well, I call my rutabagas turnips. I planted rutabagas. Yeah, well, gas in Canada right now is over $8 a gallon. If you want to go by gallons, well over 2 cents a liter. Yeah. Well, I don't plant carrots because now this is what we're talking about, changing how you think. Okay. I've lived here 15 years, and for 15 years, I've been getting a 50-pound bag of carrots for $7. Well, not 15 years. For 10 years, I got them for $7. And then for the last 4 or 5 years, they've been $8 a bag. And last year, they were full 50-pound bags. Some of them are 35, right? Unless they're a smaller bag because the carrots are smaller, and that makes them more denser and weigh more, right? So do not assume, I don't assume that I'm going to be able to get carrots this year at all. And if I can get them, because they sell them as deer carrots, I'm pretty sure they're going to go from $8 a bag to at least 10. Still a good deal. 50 pounds of carrots, right? $10 for 50 pounds. That's $1 a pound. Or $1 for 5 pounds of carrots. I did not say carrot tops are edible, but I do believe they are in the parsley family. Yeah. And yeah, well, just inflation Trudeau, right? So, I mean, we have to step out of, like, we got sucked into the whole reduce, reuse, recycle thing, the whole recycling thing. Now listen carefully. We got sucked into recycling so that we could feel better about purchasing plastic. That was planned. They sucked us in with recycling so that we would not realize how much plastic was going into the landfills. Because once you fire it into the blue box, you don't think about it, right? You think you've done your part. 75% of recycling of your recycle bin, 70% of recycled materials end up in the landfill. Well, you know what? I'm going to see if I have any carrots. But I am going to be buying carrots for next year. Because I saw some really beautiful black and red and yellow and all that, right? So we have been funneled into a place where we no longer take responsibility for what we buy in packaging, because we've been programmed to believe we're doing the right thing when we recycle it. This is the kind of programming we have to break out of. We have to break out of even the thought that farmers markets are going to be cheap this year. They're not. Gas, gas, gas. So the closest thing we can do, and y'all know I've ordered a side of beef, right? And I'm getting it in December, so I just got to live with grocery store meat a little bit longer, unless I'm buying chickens, right? The more middlemen you cut out between yourself and the farmer, the cheaper the price is. Hence the deer carrots. All of the other carrots, the nice, straight, perfectly sized ones that fit in the bags, they go through like a sorter, or people sort them. And those carrots go on to the grocery store. And that's why they're, $2.99 for a 3-pound bag or a 2-pound bag. But all the big, ugly ones, the ones that got 2 legs, the ones got heads, all those carrots, they bag in 50-pound bags and they sell them as deer carrots. So I've got big beef bones brewing away. I've got chicken bones because, contrary to popular opinion, we all ate last night. We all ate chicken and rice. There's leftover rice, and it's in the fridge for a stir-fry meal this week. And all the bones, plus the back I cut out of the chicken. I cut the back out so I could spatchcock it. And that all went on, and the kids were like putting gonna scrape their bones. And don't you scrape those bones in the garbage, right? Any vegetable matter or bones left on your plate, you put in that crock pot over there. That's our supper on Monday, right? You've been tossing carrot tops your whole life. Bev, seems like new folks here. Well, may want to chat about our seed exchange. Oh, absolutely. Okay. We are going to be doing a Christmas card exchange. We do a Christmas card exchange, but it doesn't have to be Christmas. Like if you're Jewish, you can send a Happy Hanukkah card to somebody and it'll be something new. I don't care if I get a Happy Hanukkah card or, how's the balls of your feet card, right? As long as this is where we've started up this process. We've done it 2 years in a row, Don alone. They grow what is on the land. Stupid question. What is spatchcocking? Spatchcocking is where you take a whole chicken and you go up its butt with a pair of scissors along one side of the spine and up its butt with a pair of scissors. I can't do it. I had to get Howie to do the second half because my hands aren't what they used to be. And you take the spine out, throw a crock pot for soup, and then you flip the bird over and you spread the legs and you flip the bird over and you push down on the breastbone until it cracks and it flattens. It's flattening a chicken. Flattened chicken. Hey, Frankie H. I'm brand new. Well, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard and welcome to Life with the Wolfies. This is where everything happens that's not necessarily about homesteading, right? We talk about all kinds of stuff here. I do cards. Some people tip. It's not mandatory, but sometimes I'll pull cards. I will probably pull a random card shortly. Nice to meet you, Frankie. Where you cut the back off and spread. Yeah. I just had a Viking moment, isn't it? Thank you, Frankie. Oh, we're full of them here. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Hi, Audrey. I'm being a good customer now with plans to utilize the relationship when food becomes increasingly scarce, especially good food. Yeah, well, I on my dad's side, I come from Viking roots. I am not a direct descendant of Ragnar Lothbrok. I'm a direct descendant of Rollo Lothbrok. The one that Ragnar's brother who moved to the Western world and adopted Western civilization. That's what I mean. When you talk about the spread eagle, I heard blood eagle I read blood eagle. And that's just horrible stuff. So what was I talking about? Right. Farmers. Get to know your farmers. No longer assume that the farmers markets are going to be your friend. Everybody's getting killed by gas. Everybody's getting weirded out by weather. Everybody's, there's all these food shortages coming in the States because packing plants are, blah, 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 because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, whatever the reason is, shit is hitting the fan. And like we said before, you either are in front of that fan or you're behind it, right? Hey, Joe Mama, I'm Scottish. Does that count? Absolutely. My grandparents on my dad's parents came over from Aberdeen, Scotland in 1919. I'm like first generation Canadian, not Indigenous Canadian. First generation. Oh, I have some Indigenous in me on my mom's side, but first generation Canadian. Because when my dad signed up for the Royal Canadian Air Force, when he went to school, that's what it was. When he went to school, they said, name and nationality, and they're calling roll call the first day. And he said, my dad said, his name, and he said Canadian. And they said, yeah, but what's your nationality? Right out of the tree grows in Brooklyn. And he goes, what do you mean? He said, I was born here. And she said, where were your parents born? And he said, Scotland. She said, then you're Scots Canadian. That didn't change for years and years and years and years and years. So technically, I'm a first generation Canadian. Hey, Kell, how are you, darling? We're supposed to come up this summer to Cedar Point. Pick a card for me. I'm curious if there is any changes for me. Thanks. Okay, well, that's general. Are all craft stands and gewgaws. It's useless. The farmers markets. Right. Okay, you don't want that one. All right. I'm feeling the energy oracle card for you. If you've missed the opening saging, where we send all our love and prayers and feelings and there we go. Then you got two. If you missed it, then we have been cleansed, and this is a negative-free zone. Oh, okay. You got the door to value. Now, be careful with this. Now, anybody who's new, I don't read cards by the book. I read cards intuitively for the person who's asking for them. The door to value is you're standing there and you're worried about money. In this case, you're worried about money, right? But what you're missing, you're missing the point. It's like bird in the hand, two in the bush. You're standing at the precipice of something that's really valuable. And I don't necessarily mean gold or silver or anything like that. Maybe it's property. All right. And you're dickering about spending the money. But what you don't realize is there's something coming that is more valuable than what you're actually paying for it. Maybe it's because it's land and it has its own well. Maybe it's because it has a wood stove. I don't know, but I'm feeling it's a property thing. Okay. You got the Blossoming Abundance card, which is upside down. Because again, you're hanging on to, you're having a hard time making a commitment because of financial times, the way they are. But trust me, you're opening the door to something that is valuable. If you trust that, you will have blossoming abundance, but you're standing on the precipice. I hope that makes sense. And it got turned down. Well, I mean, then it wasn't meant to be, right? This is where we have to look at things. We have to we got a whole generation that just goes to the store, right? Weekly. Remember, time is not measurable, guys. Time just is. And time is now. Period, full stop. Everything else is forward or backward, side to side, up, down, universal, flipping over and stuff like that. But if you have to learn to live in the moment. Thank you, Donna Lull. You have to learn to live in the moment. And I don't mean live in the moment like, yeah, top of the world, Mon, do whatever you want. I'm talking about live in the moment about where you are. Take stock of where you are. Yes, you can plan. Hey, Nana. Yes, you can plan, right? You can plan, but you always have to have the mindset that anything can happen. Gardens can fail. Storms can come through. Gas prices, which we absolutely have no control of. We are living in really remarkable times. We are living in times where people are in power that we didn't put there. They let us think we put them there, but we didn't put those people there. Explain to me how just inflation Trudeau can stay in office with a 32% minority. And how he can just make an agreement with another party that they're going to support each other's votes on the floor so that they can hold the majority as long as they scratch each other's backs. Why is that even legal? Right? Don't take tomorrow for granted. Live in the now. Don't live in tomorrow, because if you got 1 foot in tomorrow and 1 foot in yesterday, you're pissing all over the moment, which is now, right? Failure to prepare. I'm not saying don't prepare. Like somebody said, where am I going to put all this stuff? Now I don't want to throw anything away. I'm going to address that. Somebody said, I don't know. Now after watching this frugal series, I don't want to throw anything away. Wrong. You don't want to throw anything away of value. And I'm not talking dollar value. I'm talking survival value. Savings value. For instance, wasn't 3 weeks ago, folks? A month ago? I started decluttering my home. Why? I'm getting old, and that's a lot of cleaning. And I have fibromyalgia and 2 kinds of arthritis, so cleaning's not always easy. So was I ever going to use again? Like I had a whole set of Bradford Exchange North American songbird plates. You remember they surrounded my bird clock. I've kept my bird clock. My daughter-in-law almost had a panic attack when she couldn't see the bird clock. She said, where's the bird clock? Because she knew I got rid of a lot of stuff. I said, it's right there. And she went, oh, it almost wasn't bird or clock. It's a joke in our house, right? But they were taken off the wall to do a Christmas display. And they never got put back up. How much are they worth to me? They're worth nothing. I can't eat off of them. They're decorative plates, not plates to be used for food. So they went back in their boxes with their certificates of authenticity, and I'm lucky if I got $2 for them all. But that was $2 more than I had that morning, and there were things I didn't need. I got rid of the electric fireplace from downstairs. Why? A, we have baseboard heaters. B, if the power goes out, it's useless. C, we never use it. $40. You know what I mean? $200 fireplace. This is what I'm saying. It's not that you don't get rid of anything. You start to declutter the things that no longer have survival value. I cleaned out an entire, I went from 2 China cabinets to 1. All of my Friendly Village dishes that I've been having on display getting dusty for years and years and years, they went in my cupboard. I use them now. Why? Because that's what they're for. What's their worth standing in a China cabinet? Boast value, right? Yeah, they're getting chipped. So what? They're dishes. They're mine. I love them. Why shouldn't I use them? So when I emptied out most of that China cabinet, I realized I had stuff that I did want to keep. I went to put it in the other China cabinet, which was full of cookie jars. The hell have I got all these cookie jars for? I'll look at the comments in a minute. I had a kind of shock moment with my 15-year-old epileptic cat, had to have narcosis and tooth removed. I'm so happy he's back home. Oh, baby. More mad. More mad. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much. And if you want me to pull you a card, you just say so. Thank you for the brilliant tip. If you have a specific question, please pop it in here. Now, I got to get back in my head because that really startled me. That really startled me. So what I ended up doing was I realized I just happened to see a flyer on my Facebook page. Guys, start writing shit down. Start writing stuff down. Internet's no longer reliable. Not for information. We're going to talk. We're going to God bless you. Thank you very much. So what I ended up doing is I saw on my local Facebook page that our arena, which is fully community supported, was having a community yard sale so that we could support and the only thing that supported it is when you rented your space. Everything you earned was yours, but you rented your space. So I paid $30 for 2 spaces, pulled the motorhome down because it was just easier. The bathroom and I could get in the shade because it was 37 degrees Celsius that day. And I almost got really sick. But I kept the cookie jars that had sentimental value. Well, I kept one Christmas cookie jar just because I like the reindeer. I kept one cookie jar because my mother-in-law gave it to me. And I kept one cookie jar because it's a relic of my cousins from my childhood. Let me know if Morninad wants a card, guys. Hi, Chev. How's it going? 4x4. That's right. I'm going to call you 4x4 from now on. So I kept the 3, right? The rest, like 7 of them, went in the yard sale. All my Bradford Exchange plates went in the yard sale. The 3 Christmas ones that I've never even put on the wall, they didn't sell. So I brought them home. I'm going to put them up, right? I sold books I no longer read, DVDs we no longer play, all of those things. Anything that hasn't been used in a year except for one. I'm going to tell you some of the things I wouldn't sell. Okay, we're talking about the things grandma would tell you to save. Well, let's talk about the things grandma would tell you to get rid of. Anything that is taking up space, that does not give you, and that has no survival value, get rid of it. Get rid of it, right? Because like I said, I'm getting older and it's getting harder and harder to clean. However, now I have room in all one china cabinet for all my bits and pieces of history and stuff from my mother-in-law that was her grandmother's and things like that, right? I have a set of books from the 1960s. Now, my father was a huge believer in books. And I inherited, he gave me, he gave them all to my sister, except for the Popular Mechanics set. There's a set, Popular Mechanics Do-It-Yourself series. This shit is gold. Tells you how to build a septic bed. You can't look up that information anymore. Tells you how to build a spinning wheel, a fancy one, but you could dial it down, right? And when Dad was still alive, I said, one of these days, Dad, I asked if I could borrow one. That was it. Can I borrow one of the Popular Mechanics book? He said, you can have them if you want. They went milk crate. They've come home and they've been with me ever since. Thank you, my dad. I won't get rid of, I got rid of books I haven't read or won't read again. I kept all the ones that I continually reread, but I also kept my books on herbs and herbal medicine. I kept my books on wild foraging. I kept my books on quilting. I kept my do-it-yourself encyclopedia by Popular Mechanics from the 1960s, right? I kept those things. Why is it important to keep books? Because the internet lies and hides information that they don't think they want you to have anymore, right? You can no longer trust the internet. So, for instance, let's talk about if your children don't want them. I don't need a card, just love you. Well, thank you. Thank you. I am decluttering and rethinking all I keep in two categories. Does it serve a purpose on my homestead lifestyle, or does it make me happy? Otherwise, it goes. Right? That's right. I mean, I have a battered up old flour tin. It's battered. I put it through the dishwasher, and because the lid looked painted, enameled, so that was fine. But the tin wasn't, and it was coming off. That was my mother's flour tin. I don't care how battered that gets, that shit stays, right? It has a purpose, right? I can use it. And the other flour tin I made for my dad because my sister used to work in a restaurant. Now this is frugal. My sister used to work in a restaurant, and the big cans, they would be plastic jugs now. The big cans that gravy base and all that stuff would come in had nice tight soup bases, had nice tight fitting lids. And they were tin. So she gave me one. Well, she'd take them home, and kids would put the crayons in and stuff, right? So when I was living at my dad's, when Arthur was a newborn, because I was a single mom, and she gave me one, and I said, Dad, you know, he had a roll of shelf paper. There was a roll of shelf paper with cherries on it. And I said, kid, you got any like latex or white paint? He said, sure. He said, just make sure you clean up after yourself. Because in my dad's tool room and workshop down in the basement was pristine. He had outlines for everything. He knew he had every tool he had ever had since before I was born. He still had them all. And he had late paint and the Fleischmann tubs of screws and nails and stuff. So he said, clean up after yourself and put everything back where you found it. I said, thanks, Dad. I went down, spread newspaper on his bench, and I painted the outside of the tin and lid white. And then I covered it with plastic Mac Tack, white plastic Mac Tack with the cherries on it. I still have that tin. I'm even washing out bean cans for my nails and screws. Well, there you go. Please say a little prayer for us. Scott is pushing to drive again, and he's just not ready, and it's becoming difficult. You tell him to ask his doctor. Don't make yourself responsible for the decision of whether or not he's capable of driving. All that's going to do is make him resent you. You tell him, talk to your doctor. And if the doctor says you can drive, well then, say la vie and away you go. I'll stay home, thanks. So it's not that you shouldn't throw out anything. If it doesn't serve your purpose or give you joy, what the hell? It's just a dust collector. It's my father's famous saying, it's just stuff, right? It's just stuff. So learn the difference. That's why we have so many hoarders in the world right now. Not people think, oh, they lived through the Depression or their parents lived through the Depression or whatever. No, that's not why they hoard and are living in filth. It's because they have an emotional attachment to things. Okay, this is where things started to go really bad when we started. Well, let's say it started with language, right? Everybody throws the word love around as if it's, oh, I love that. Oh, that's hot. I love that. Right? You do realize you're abusing the language. Love isn't even an emotion. Love, like time, just is. It is our direct connection with our Creator is love. But people have allowed it. People have changed our language so much that the important things are getting lost in minimalization and with no respect for words. Words have power. Hey, Mary Beth, how are you, darling? Yeah, I like throwing stuff. Well, see, I recognized a long time ago, before hoarding was a thing on TV. I realized a long time ago that I could actually be a hoarder if I allowed myself. Everybody who's made it this far in the world has some kind of emotional damage from what we've been put through. We are all suffering PTSD. This pandemic was supposed to be the final nail in our coffin. Just thank God it wasn't, right? Seed exchange. Thank you. Thank you, Donna. All right. So we have a Facebook page. Now, I don't really frequent that Facebook page much anymore because I really don't like giving my time to Facebook. I have Gab. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take social media out of the equation for this year's card exchange. What we used to do the last couple of years, we had a Christmas card exchange or a greeting card exchange or a seasonal card exchange, whatever it is. If you're Jewish and I send you a Merry Christmas card, it's all in the sport, right? If I'm me and you send me a Happy Yule card, or you send me a Happy Hanukkah, I'm good with that. It's about connecting with people off of the internet. Now, at first we would do it on Facebook, and a lot of people don't use Facebook anymore, and it's crashing and burning, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do an email exchange where, if you want to be, the first year we asked how many people in the group wanted to be in the exchange. And then I got my list in order. And when I had the list, I started with myself at the top, and I took the next 5 people down, and I went into Messenger and asked them for their addresses. Okay? And then I would mail them cards. The next person below me got 5 cards, 5 contacts. Now, we were exchanging recipes and everything else. This year, we are going to go into connected hearts. Why? Because we really want to start exchanging physical addresses, right? And there were a lot of people in the Facebook page, and I think I know some of them were, and we just won't talk about them because they're not welcome here, that would say, yes, I want to participate. There would be 3 or 4 of them, and they would do it deliberately, and then not approach anybody for addresses, not give out their address. They would just go mute. And what it would do, it would knock the synchronicity off of the chain, right? So this year, everybody who wants to participate is going to have to email me. We'll talk about it later, but I will do a post on it here on Life with the Wolfies, okay? Everybody who wants to participate this year is going to have to email me and say they want to be in the card exchange, greeting card exchange, and you have to provide your address. Now, you're only going to get the addresses of the next 5 people in the line, but I'll have them all in case it hits the fan, right? If you trust me. But this builds up a community where we're not here online. It's easy to commit and talk about things when you're in a live stream. But when it comes to committing, even on Facebook, it's easier. Oh yeah, I can do that, and then not show up. The only people who end up in the exchange are the ones who show up with their mailing address and my email. Why? Because I'm also going to write them all down and put them in an address book, because I don't trust the internet anymore. I just don't. So it's time to start Look what's happened in the last 20 years. People stopped sending Christmas cards because everybody, updated their status on Facebook and thought that was good enough. Cell phones became personal items, not a phone on the wall. When I was a kid, There was a phone. It didn't plug into the wall. It was wired into the wall. There was no answering machine. If you didn't answer that friggin' phone, you missed the call altogether, right? Well, people have gotten in the habit of carrying their cell phones with them everywhere. I think they're staying connected. But cell phones and internet accounts and Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts, they all have the same failure system, which means people can just decide to shut them off. Now, I don't know about you, but if our phone, when I was a kid, rang at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's because somebody was dying or it was a wrong number. But you answered the phone. Now, people have been led to feel that they have an option not to respond. Whole sections of my family have disappeared because they don't think I should have their phone number or their address. They don't think they have to answer the phone, or they just changed their cell phone plan and decided not to add me. We are living in a cancel culture, and it's not just canceling history, it's canceling relationships. So what happens if for some reason, and I'm not an alarmist, I'm just saying what happens? Because pretty much anything you can imagine happening is possible, right? So what happens if we suddenly lose, or we have a massive EMP and all of our communication systems go down? There's still the post office. Hey, aces! I miss the days of the house. Yeah, exactly. My family, the same invalid number now. Yeah, right? So the thing is, but people feel entitled to just cancel parts of their life they don't want to deal with, or they don't want to be responsible for the decisions they made that hurt somebody. They just walk away and they change their phone number. I mean, this is reality now. Okay? When I was a kid, when my mother died when I was 9, okay, my mother didn't even get into surgery. In the ambulance, and by the time she was going into surgery, there were aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters coming out of the friggin' woodwork. Why? One friggin' phone call. One phone call. But for the last, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, every Christmas or in November, I email my family for what contacts I still have, and most of them are invalid. And I say, look, if you want a Christmas card, I need your current mailing address and your current phone number. And those that responded got one. And then finally, about a year ago, I said, look, folks, I send out these family kind of email newsletters, and I do them blind carbon copy so nobody sees who else is there, and they can't respond. When they respond, it doesn't respond to everybody. It just responds to me, right? And I said, look, I don't know who's getting this shit and who's not getting this shit. So here's the deal. If I send you an email and if you get this email and you don't respond, I'm taking you off my list, because I'm getting tired of sending out an email to 45 people once a month and only getting praying hands and a heart in reply, maybe from 3 people. So if you want to stay connected with me, you answer this email. Period, full stop, because I don't have anybody's phone numbers anymore, right? That's why I'm making sure I have real in-person friends and community now. It's going to be important. Well, that's why what we want to do this year, and I'm getting back to the trunk issue, Donna, is this year I'm going to announce on here and in like a community post that anybody who wants to be a part of the greeting card and seed exchange, not recipes, seed exchange. Oh, and by the way, if you do want to put a recipe, somebody made this brilliant remark. Put it on the back on, when you open the greeting card, this part of the card with the picture on it usually is blank. Put your recipe on there. And then when you send it, we just cut part off because I use the Christmas cards for a lot of stuff and crafts and everything, right? Hi, Roxanne. I'm glad that I don't know or talk to most of my family. I have 5 people that I actually care about anymore. It makes it so much easier. Well, it's not that I don't care about them, but they voluntarily taken themselves. Like, for instance, I have a brother who's going to drive 4 hours, 5 hours to come and see me this week. Every year he comes once in the summer. And we exchange jars of jelly, and he's bringing me a bird feeder, a replica of one that my dad's bird feeders that dad built. My brother refurbished it, and then he built copies. So he's bringing me a bird feeder. That's connection. My brother gets a Christmas card every year. I text him at night. Good night, honey. Text my sister at night. Good night, honey. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is we are going to now listen, don't send bean seeds unless you're sending them in a little box or something, because they will get crushed in transit. A Christmas card, or the Christmas card will be too thick and it'll be discarded by the post office. So we got to think about these things. If you want to send something in like something like this, that might be better. Put the card inside a bubble wrap mailer or something. It's more expensive. But if you really want the card to get there, that's what you're going to do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my connectedheartsfamily@gmail.com. Anybody who knows that address, could you please put it up there? Connectedheartsfamily, all one word, @gmail.com. And I'm going to make an announcement saying who wants to be in the Christmas card and seed exchange. And the way we're going to do it is you will email me and say, please put me in the card exchange, and you will put your mailing address in. And so when I have a list and mailing addresses, right, I'm going to give you your 5 names and their addresses. Kind of makes it so you don't even know who's going to send you the card, right? But the next 5 person, and then the next person down, and you end up with 5 or 6 or 10 cards, depending, right? But this year, we're going to put of garden seeds, flower seeds, whatever, but garden seeds are the most valuable right now, right? Herbs, but make sure that, you know, oh yeah, you look at the person's address, look up their growing zone before you send seeds too, right? And you're only going to get 5 names. But it's like a pyramid. Everybody gets more than what they put out. Right? Hi, Angie. Angela Passmore is one of my few family members I still keep in contact with. I've never had an extended family, so it's not a big deal to me anymore. You've never had an extended family, you mean? I use the front picture Christmas cards to do forms on my presents. It's fun. I use them for that too. I never get Christmas. That's the point. Why do people send Christmas cards? Christmas cards and greeting cards were designed to let somebody back before the days when we just now, we're getting back to this. Everything comes home to roost, right? Back in the days before people could travel great distances cheaply, greeting cards, like, I mean, I see Howie and I drive 4 hours, stay at a hotel, visit a round robin of family, and drive home. Or go 4 hours, stay for an hour, have a cup of tea. I've seen us drive 12 hours to New Brunswick, stay for an hour and a cup of tea and a sandwich, and come home. We're not doing that anymore. A, it's a lot and we're old. And B, it's too bloody expensive. So we are trying to revive the greeting card system. Why? It gives somebody a physical reminder that someone's thinking of you. And you keep in touch with current addresses. We need to, it's all but dissolved. The internet is all but dissolved. People actually writing to each other, right? You may end up as a pen pal with one of the people that got your greeting card. They may send you a thank you card. It might start up a conversation, right? It's a physical reminder, A, of where you live, B, somebody's thinking of you. So this way, people who don't have a lot of or have an extensive family, or family has just dropped off the mat, or friends have just dropped off the mat, we will support each other with greeting cards and this year the seed exchange. Hi, Raf. How are you, my darling? What's hearing saying? I wish, when I was a kid, greeting cards came all over. My father mailed his greeting cards on the last day of November every year. Always. He didn't put up a tree or anything, but he always got greeting cards. And guess what? Then one year, we bought a 2-foot tree from Walmart for $7.99, an artificial tree, and some angels and some lights and some ornaments from the dollar store. And we put it in a dehumidifier. This is for the new folks. We put it in a dehumidifier box, and we drove it up to my dad's. And he goes, "What's that?" And I pulled the tree out, and I set it on his coffee table, and I plugged it in, and he goes, "Now that's the most sensible Christmas tree I've ever seen. Tree in a box." And at the end of the year, he put the tree back in the box and put it away in the cupboard under his thing. I'm starting to feel the tree in the box, except I put up 3 trees every year. So what's coming in and out? I don't have seeds, but would love to send cards. Well, that's fine. What are you hearing the same? Wait, Avon Is my computer? It shouldn't. Okay. Am I cutting in and out? I'm going well. Soaping right now, just waiting for my lye oils to come to temperature. I'm going to be making soap this year again. And I'm going to make laundry bars because I'm going to start making my own laundry soap again. Piss on the high efficiency washing machine. I don't give a shit if it doesn't like it. My mom baked a Christmas plate for everyone. Yeah. Styrofoam meat trays. Wash them, save them, wrap them in tinfoil, put cookies on them and some cellophane and give them as gifts. I am cutting in and out. Okay. Guys, where am I going to post this? I'm going to post it in Facebook. We'll be right back. I'm going to try and start it up again, okay? Hang on a second. Listen, if I'm cutting in and out and it's been over an hour, it's really time to go. When you talk about certain topics, it's cutting in and out. Okay. All right. Well, Oh, I promised everybody on our half-acre homestead that is new to explain what this box is. It is not a Faraday cage. It is an old styrofoam cooler lined with tinfoil because I have a Sony Bluetooth speaker. And on Friday nights, I get together with my patrons from Patreon. And we have what's called Freaky Friday. And it's a once-a-week thing, and you don't get to rewatch it. You can rewatch the lives we do together, our unlisted lives on Monday and Wednesday. But the Freaky Friday always gets deleted afterwards. So it's a one-off thing every Friday. I put my Bluetooth speaker in there. I'll put my disco lights on. You want to see my disco lights? I got to get the, see, my disco lights. I have to get the remote for that. It's down the basement. I know, Freaky Friday. What didn't work? Well, looks like I missed it. I'll have to go and watch it again. Well, apparently it keeps cutting out. Bluetooth, also known as Wall-E. I don't get it. Hi, Chaos. Fell asleep way too soon. Well, it's 8 o'clock my time. I don't know what it is for everybody else. All right, listen, guys. Let's, the time has come. Howie, are you cooking? Yep. I'm about to close. And you unplugged my computer with your fussing in here yesterday. That's convenient. All right. Yay, stay 2217. Okay. Now, if you're new here and I haven't seen you, welcome aboard. Welcome to the family. This is where we come to talk about things other than homesteading, although it always comes back to homesteading and gardening and frugal living and all those things, right? So remember, there is a difference between saving and frugal living and hoarding. Please, please, please be aware that if it, stop attaching feelings and emotions to things. They are just things. Yes, I get joy when I look at my mother's flower tin, but it's a flower tin, right? Um, it's not, every wrapper or scrap or piece of dried food she ever touched. You know what I mean? There's a difference. So please be aware of that. I'm planning on giving out soap for holidays. I'm making crock pot soap. I don't do cold process. I do hot process. And I'm going to be making laundry soap bars, which is just going to be lard and suet, and then I'm going to make scented home body bars with, lard and lye and all that. It's all lye anyway. Yeah, I soap, but I sell once in a while. I bar with soap. I'm planning on aloe vera and tea made of rosella. Ooh. Ooh. Well, thank you, Tammy Smith. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now, listen, if you notice the numbers are dropping because a lot of people who come here know what comes next. We do a prayer at the end. Now, listen, if you want to leave, there is no judgment. It's not everybody's bag of dirt, right? So, what we're going to do, I haven't used that expression in years, not since I was a teenager. So, what we do is this is where we drop the walls that religion has formed between us. Remember, religion is man-made. Faith is not. Faith is a direct connection with your understanding. It doesn't matter what faith you are. When we do this prayer, I talk to the source of my faith. You talk to the source of yours. And we come together in love and light, right? That's all it is, right? So, those who don't want to stay, take care. God bless. And the rest of you, now that I've given everybody time to leave, we will take a deep breath. And there is no judgment if you don't want to stay. Not everybody is the same. We would all be sheep, wouldn't we? Okay. Let's take some. It's my bag of dirt. Well, awesome. All right. Take care, Kelly. Hey, Joe, now that you mentioned carrots are part of the parsley family, I hear the greens are edible. Have you tried them, Mrs. B? No, because I don't grow carrots, right? So why would I don't think about it, right? All right, here we go. Take care, Patricia. Okay, let's take a nice deep breath. Hold it in your lungs, deep in your lungs, and then release. 2 more times. Hey, God, creator and one source of all, how's it going? Thank you, God, for bringing us together today. Whom I choose to call God. Thank you for bringing us together today in love, light, laughter, support, and ideas for each other's life. We got a lot of good things talked about today, God. We shared a lot of stuff. And please help us to continue to stay in touch outside of the internet world so that we know that we're not alone when, if things are rough, if things get rough, right? So, but God, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a support system at all. They may be ill or alone, or they're looking after an invalid loved one all by themselves, or they've been alone or rejected or neglected, or they're sick and no one's there to look after them. They're mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in pain. God, we lift all those people up to you, because other than support and love, there's nothing else we can do, but your support and love is always the end result, the end ticket. It's the cure-all. And God, we know that you always give us what we ask, even what we think we need, but you always give us a way to keep on going forward without it, whatever it is, right? I mean, we're not going to die just because my car's not working. You know what I mean? So my car's working. Thank you. Anyway, God, just want to, ask you to fill us with love and light so that we can push that love and light out to each other as we connect hearts and connect hands, and we become a big lighthouse for those that are trying to find shelter from the storm, for those that are trying to find their way out of the fog, for those that need help pushing back the darkness. Thank you, God, for us together. May we all go forward with love, light, patience, tolerance, and peace. Amen. Shalom. Namaste. Peace be with you. Merry meet, merry part. Blessed be. Walk in the light of God. Peace be with you. Whatever your salutation is that connects you with your faith, know that no matter what it is, when we come together, we're always heard, aren't we? We're always heard. Take care. God bless. Don't forget to squeeze the quarter. And remember, start thinking inside the box, not outside the box. That's what got us thinking recycling was a good thing for the planet, right? If it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't serve your life, your survival, or your joy and peace, please declutter and make room for the stuff that will. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you guys for the next public live on Thursday. Mwah! Love you. Don't forget that. Because all you need is love. Right? Love. Love and fear. The only two powers in the world. Love and fear. And if you're fearing something, then you're not trusting the love that is within your faith, right? Take care. God bless. It doesn't mean don't be cautious. It just means, we can be fearless. We can be. I love you guys. Take care. God bless.